Hey there. In this video, I'm going to go over putting a 220 outlet in my garage so I can run my plasma cutter and my welder. I got my breaker box right here. I'm just going to install the plug back here because this is where this machine lives. And if you're watching this video, then maybe this is something you're interested in, so you can follow along and kind of see what it takes to install this and get some insight for your project. All right, let's get started. So I figured I'll bring up the outlet about 2 feet off the stem wall. And then I want my box to be 4 inches. And I will just run a channel across here to run the wires and make my life easier. Let's go about 2 feet here. I think if I'm careful, I'll be able to reuse this drywall. So. All right, now we got the box installed. I'm going to start installing our 8.3 Romex. I'm going to use this punch out here. And with that knockout out, I will also drill a hole to run the 8.3 Romex through the stud. I can see both sides. I see I got a grounding wire over here, so I'll just make sure that I don't hit that. And I will rough in the cable. I can leave about 10 inches in the box, so I will leave it about there, and then we'll just add the connector onto there. Before I do that, though, I will just take my box knife and score the outer casing for the Romex. You can just do a real light scoring, breaks it away just fine. See, it comes apart at the score. Okay, next I will put the swivel clamp adapter on. I'm going to slide that down over the original jacket and tighten it down. I'm going super crazy on there, just enough to keep it taut. And work it through knockout. Bring it into the box. Now we got 4 wires here. The common we're not going to use. We will use the 2 hots and this grounding wire. So for the common, I'm just going to cap this off and then fold it into the back of the box. Take a grounding screw. Next, I will be connecting up our plug. We got the 2 hots here. They can go either side of the plug in. Down here is our hots. The ground wire is going to come into here. I'm going to have the plug oriented this way because that's naturally the way the cable from the welder goes. Now I'll fold it all into the box. This is always the more difficult task. Okay, now with all that in, I move my attention up to the main panel here. All right, before I take the panel off though, I'm going to turn off our main supply so that I don't arc against anything. It's going to be a little dark. Okay, so I'm going to go through one of these punch outs down here. And just like the box earlier, I'll use one of the screw clamp connectors. Pretty difficult to tighten it all before I get in there, so I'm going to just kind of size it up and then connect it. So I'm going to put the connector right here. Right, so you can see like I'll be entering the box somewhere about there. So I'll tighten that down. And just like before, not going to over tighten it. Now that through that punch out that I just got. And tighten that down again. Okay, it's good and secure. And then I will score the jacket here. Now, still, we have that common wire. I'm not going to use that. That will just get cut off and capped like we did in the box. Leave like enough line so in the future, if I need to use it, it will be available though. So I will cut it off here. And like before, just cap it and tuck it into the box. Just tuck this down out of the way here. Then next I'll take the ground and roughly cut it about here. I'll get it a little bit closer in a second. And tighten that down. So the breaker is going to go onto here, so I'm going to make sure that I have enough wires to come over, cut them down, strip them, and put them on there. So you can see it goes red, black here. I'm going to do the same. I'm going to start with red and then go to black just to keep the same orientation. Okay, and then we'll put this breaker onto the panel. Put it up there and then push it down. There we go. Make sure everything else is nice seated. Got our wires tucked away. Don't want any wire behind our screw points so that when we put the panel cover back on, we could screw into those. And I like to make sure it's off before going and just double check all my connections. They're nice and tight, and anything nearby to make sure I didn't loosen those up. Put the panel on here. All right, now we can get back out of the light, turn on the main panel. I still got the welder off. So before I turn this all on, I want to finish the drywall. The protector in here for the wires, so I don't actually accidentally screw. And now let's patch up this drywall that we got left here. Just going to use a couple of scrap pieces of wood and give myself something to screw against. All right, now let's put this back together. Put the plate on here. And take off all this. Open up the circuit breaker. Let's turn this on. I guess that's a good sign the house didn't blow up. We'll label 1516 as our welder. Let's plug in the welder and see if it works now. All right, now for the moment of truth. All right, that's all ready. So not a bad project. Good one for the weekend. It wasn't too long of a run for those wires. The drywall patch wasn't too bad, and luckily for me, it's in the dark portion of the garage behind a piece of machinery, so it doesn't have to be too great. Well, thanks for watching, and catch you next time.